Hey everybody! Welcome to PsychFacts. Today, our topic is about 45 signs of introvert personality that may be in you, Part 1. Make sure to watch till the end, maybe you would find something useful that you could try. What is introverted personality? Introverts are personality types whose people are more focused on internal feelings within themselves than with external stimulation from the surrounding environment. People who are introverted tend to be more quiet, calm, and more flexible in assessing themselves, introspective. But keep in mind, introverted personality is not the same as being shy or having social anxiety disorder. Introvert personality owners can still interact well with others. It's just that, after spending time gathering with many people, an introverted person will need timeouts to regain his energy. This is inversely proportional to the extrovert's personality, which actually gets energy from gathering with many people. Now, in this general explanation, it is enough to explain someone with this personality type, right? But actually there are so many traits that indicate someone is included in this type of personality or not. Maybe you also have some of them. Let's move on to 45 signs of introvert personality that may be in you. 1. Like to have unusual daydreaming. If you are a person who is very often reprimanded by friends because you often daydream, chances are you are an introvert. Most people in this personality type are indeed very happy with their own world to forget the outside world. Like the world in imagination is more beautiful than the real world. Not only that, this habit of daydreaming does not only occur to unusual daydreaming, often these daydreams are afterthought rather than fantasy. It's like being trapped in thoughts of thinking about something quite heavy like conspiracy theories or the type of books to buy later. This reflection can also occur just because you see a billboard that is unique and disturbing thoughts. 2. Often ignore other people. Unfortunately, the introvert, when he was busy with his world, really did not like to be disturbed. Maybe some are okay if disturbed, but because they are more inclined to think and do one thing in full, so people are ignored. Put it, if they are reading a book, painting, or writing, you are certainly ignored because the stimulation of the activities carried out is far more interesting than the others. There are also those who, when they are busy like that, even want to drive people away. So, if you tend to ignore other people when you think or pursue something, chances are you have this personality type. 3. Like the scent of books. Not all, but most introverts are nerds. If it's not a nerd, everyone usually likes books. And one of the things that was liked about the book was the smell. So, it is not uncommon among them to choose to spend time surrounded by many books. Therefore, if you want to meet an introvert, then just look for the book, they are definitely there. Or maybe the characteristics of this one is in you? 4. Pluviophile, rain lovers. Introverts really like calm and solitude, as we discussed earlier, but one interesting thing, this type also likes crowds. The crowd from the rain, of course. When it rains, for some reason arises calm in them. Unspeakable comfort arises. For some reason, heavy rain can improve their mood and motivation to work or study. Sometimes also many of these types who choose to be alone, take a favorite novel and enjoy warm coffee while accompanied by rain on the veranda of the room. 5. Often laugh alone. This introvert characteristic is due to their frequency or habit of being trapped in their minds. When thinking later, there will be so many interesting ideas in a problem. Coop also in each of these unique ideas tucked in things which according to them are so funny and entertaining, so they laugh alone. You who feel this happens to you, do not need to worry, this is only a small sign of your pain. An intelligence that makes people sometimes laugh at themselves as not clear, does not mean crazy, yes. 6. Have a different kind of humor. They are unique and different, because the tendency to be alone makes their mindset even humorous. If you feel often confused seeing people who laugh so quickly just because of trivial things or just because they hear jokes that are somehow not funny, chances are you are an introvert. They usually do not like silly and trivial humor. What they usually like is humor that uses intellectuals, like sarcasm or similar things. Basic humor makes them even bored and feel strange. 7. like writing in diary books. If this feature is actually not shared by everyone with this personality, but for sure, they really like writing. Writing for them is much easier than talking. This happens because they have less intensity of discussion or interaction than other people, and they actually spend more time thinking than talking. So you could say, if their brains are much faster than their mouths. So, writing this diary is often used to store fast thoughts, store understanding that is sometimes too much for the brain to contain, or even just to stimulate the brain to help the thought process. 8. Likes to talk alone. Maybe only a few who pay attention, but indeed this feature is very often done by those, especially those who have IQ above average. Why do they talk alone? No, they are not crazy. They just aren't enough to use verbal conversation to stimulate their brains. They need much more stimulation to continue to develop thinking, and one way is to speak for themselves. Thinking silence is actually not enough for them, so it needs more stimulation. In other cases also sometimes they move their arms or legs when thinking hard. 9. Not comfortable if someone visits their house. If you get annoyed and upset when a guest comes to your house, chances are you are an introvert. Home and brain are their basic paradise of this type of person. With a comfortable solitude and an inspiring imagination is enough, even more than enough for them. Well, when the beautiful comfort lasts and there are guests who tease, it will definitely be very frustrating. But remember, do not let you expel them, however upset or uncomfortable you are. At the very least, that way you don't hurt anyone's feelings. 10. Prefer to text than using cell phone. I explained earlier that introverts have difficulty interacting. This makes them dislike incoming calls on their cell phones. It must be very heavy to lift it. What makes picking up the phone too hard is because in communicating with the telephone, we are required to be intense in talking because there is no face-to-face and expression. This sometimes makes them think hard about the right thing to say. Because introverts are difficult to understand other people's emotions. So don't call, it's better to chat more comfortably for them. 11. Often considered quiet. You may often see these characteristics when you are gathering with friends or in a group. There must be someone who looks so quiet, but for some reason his expression is so serious and sharp. That person is probably an introvert, or maybe you are often like that? So, people with this personality type prioritize thinking rather than talking. Before saying something, they prefer to listen more and absorb more information, so that later they can process it in mind and determine opinions. Usually they will talk at the end, and just listen. What they say must be piercing and weighty. They may often be considered quiet, but they are silent not without cause. 12. Too theoretical. Not too sensitive to feelings, that's introverts. More logical than using feelings. The result, if someone vent or ask for opinions, they certainly provide theory or logic as a solution. But surprisingly, the solution that smells of the theory is usually always right and effective to do. So people often come closer and ask for advice. This theorizing tendency also makes them more quickly understand the lessons or situations faced by others. 13. Considered strange by people. Who doesn't think introverts are weird? Yes, unless he understands when to hide his uniqueness. But for those of you who are often considered strange because of the characteristics I just mentioned, then you should be proud. Odd means you are different from others, different means you are not consumed by social dogma, and strange means you are more incomprehensible, complicated, different, and unique in many ways. So if somebody say you are weird, just smile, it's just a sign that you are more advanced. 14. Don't like parties or other official events. The main characteristic of the introverts is that it doesn't like crowds. That tendency makes them stay away or reluctant to attend an event even though it is a party. Visiting a crowded place like a party for them is very troublesome. Their energy will also be very quickly used up there. That's because there is so much stimulation in the form of emotions rather than thoughts. As a result, they get tired and stressed. One of the characteristics if you are an introvert is also if you choose to stand near a wall or in a corner at a party and avoid mingling or being in the middle of the room. But if it involves lessons, seminars or thoughts, maybe you will be in the front row. 15. Friends are few but qualified. One note: introverts do not like emotional people, who are a little sad to speak a little about love and feelings. For them, life is too interesting to spend by discussing feelings. There are various kinds of science that are very interesting to explore. Work is also very intoxicating to do, so why just trapped in feelings? If your mindset is like that, I make sure you are included in this personality. But unfortunately, behind the progress of thinking and imagining it, you might have a little difficulty in getting friends. Yes, because you live more often alone, so there will be fewer people who have the same mindset as you. But certainly, the friends you have are certainly smart and weighty. Yes, at least they can follow your mindset and conversation flow. So, this is the end of part 1, see you soon on part 2. If you find this video is useful, share it to your friends and press the thumbs up button. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos like this and much more. Check out my playlist and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.